Okay, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat and welcome to PANTAS, Environmental Research in the Local and Global Setup. Ngayon po ay Abril 26, 2025 at ang programa natin ay mag-run mula 1:30 hanggang 2:30 ng hapon. Ako po si Kendrick Farnilo, the President and Founder of PAES, and I'm from the UPLB School of Environmental Science and Management, and I'll be your host for this session. Para po sa naghahanap ng webinar e-certificates, kindly include your name and university in the FB Live comment section. The link to the evaluation form will be placed in the FB Live comment section before the event ends at isasara po namin ang G-Forms tomorrow ng gabi, 8 p.m. Sino nga ba ulit ang PAES? Kami ang samahan na mag-aaral ng agham pangkaligiran ng Pilipinas. We are the national organizations from both undergraduate and graduate levels of degree programs aligned, related, or equivalent to environmental science and environmental management. Tinatanggap din namin ang environmental engineering, environmental planning, environmental biology, and more. So for inquiries, kindly contact us at membership.paes@gmail.com. Ngayon po, meron kaming 50 plus universities sa PAES spread around the 13 regions in the Philippines. And sa ngayon, yung yung panauhing tagapagsalita natin na isa mula sa Calabarzon, so from SLSU. So mamaya makita niyo po yung mga students at yung professor natin from SLSU. Quezon. So dalawa po kasi SLSU, meron din sa Southern Leyte. And para naman sa presentation outline this afternoon, so we have the baselining, opening remarks and the introduction of the resource speaker, presentation and Q&A, and some announcements. Para again sa baselining, kindly proceed to menti.com and type the code 85839345, or you can just scan the QR code in the screen. Again, go to menti.com and type the code 85839345 or scan the QR code. Okay, so let's proceed dun tayo sa Menti natin. So we'll give you a few more seconds to switch to menti.com. Again, you can type the code 85839345 or scan this QR code. So para po sa una nating question, ito naman lagi nating katanungan kasi nga spread out tayo across the Philippines. Asa ang probinsya ka ngayon? And while waiting for the responses, shout out lang dun sa mga nag-register sa atin ng mga schools, universities, and institution. So we have Antipolo City Senior High School, Camarines Norte State College, Cavite State University, Central Bicol State University of Agriculture. May isang City Enro pero hindi niya discuss kung saan siya galing. Commission on Population and Development Region 6, DNR Penro Surigao del Sur, DNR Senro Sipocot, DILG, Dr. Emilio B. Espinosa Sr., Memorial State College of Agriculture and Technology or DEMEMSCAT, Geographic Innovations for Development Solutions, Institution of Social Defense and Governance Strategies, Josefina H. Ceriles State College, La Verdad Christian School, Local Government Unit of San Fernando, Pampanga, and Mapua University. So yun po yung first batch ng ating shout out of the registrants. Pero ngayon balik po tayo sa slide. Nasa ang probinsya ka ngayon? So ayan, si Camarines Norte, nabanggit na natin kanina. Laguna, Quezon, syempre dapat represented ang Southern Luzon State University kasi nga from SLS yung ating panauhing tagapagsalita. We have Bukidnon, Lucena, Lucban, Cavite, Quezon Province, and Zamboanga del Norte. Okay, keep them coming. So shout out ulit sa iba pang registered participants. Nabua National High School, National Irrigation Administration Region 2, Our Lady of Fatima University, Pampanga, Palawan State University, Quirino General High School, Southern Luzon State University, CISIP Gores Velayo and Company, University of Southeastern Philippines, and University of the Philippines, Los Baños. So may nadagdag sa ating participant from Zamboanga del Norte and Quirino. Ayan, yung mga Quirino High School natin. So dito naman sa ating comment section, meron tayong Cavite State, Mindanao State University Main Campus Marawi, SLSU, CBSUA, and then DEDEMSCAT. So let us proceed to the second question. Ano ang pinakamalapit na bundok sa inyong lugar? Again, ano ang pinakamalapit na bundok sa inyong lugar? So for us, kami ni Ate Kath, dalawa yung bundok namin, isang Mount Banahaw, ayan nga, lumabas na, tsaka si Mount Makiling sa Los Baños, Laguna. And of course, if you're from NCR, syempre, merong Sierra Madre. Mountain Range? Hindi siya bundok, Mountain Range. Okay, others, yung mga taga Bukidnon, tsaka taga Zamboanga, Quirino, anong bundok ang malapit sa inyo? Mount Capistrano. Yan ata yung sa Mindanao. Dapat pala lagyan ko ng province. Okay, ano pang bundok ang malapit sa ating mga lugaran? Mount Makiling, Mount Banahaw, Mount Malindang, Mount Batulao. O di ba, hindi ko alam kung saan yung hindi ako familiar sa bundok, sorry. Okay, others. Makiling, Mount Batulao, Banahaw, Capistrano. Similar Banahaw. Okay, meron bang bundok sa Bicol? Yung, no, Volcan yung Canlaon eh. Pero Mount Canlaon pa rin naman siya. Okay, sige. Mount Labo. Sige, ayan. Sige, last one. Mount Bagakay. Bagakay. Yung hindi natin familiar. Ayan, Mount Palay-Palay. Parang familiar yung Mount Palay-Palay. Nabasa ko siya recently. Anyways, okay, so we have various mountains in the Philippines. Si Capistrano, si Bagakay, Batulao, Banahaw, Makiling, Labo, Malindang, and Palay-Palay. Meron ding agad-agad. Okay, thank you so much for participating in our baselining. So bakit tayo nagtatanong sa bundok? Mamaya malalaman nyo pag pinakilala na natin yung guest speaker natin. So balik lang tayo sa ating presentation. Okay. So we always start with baselining para mas ma-familiarize ng ating guest speaker, yung mga audience or yung participants na nanonood sa ating webinar ngayong araw. Sa mga hindi pa nakakaalam sa social media platforms ng PAES, we have Instagram, yung Environmental Science, _students_ph. And in YouTube, we're naka-upload lahat ng past webinars namin. So I think si Ate Kat is episode 25 plus na sila. So we have 20 plus webinars already in our YouTube channel. That's at Environmental Science Students PH. Again, for our webinar e-certificates, kindly include your name and university and the FB Live comment section. The link to the evaluation form will be placed in the FB Live comment section before the event ends, and it will be closed tomorrow by 8 p.m. Para sa ating opening remarks, so lagi natin ito sinasabi sa FANTAS or environmental webinar nga na, environmental research webinar natin. Kasi bilang environmental scientist, dapat or tinuturuan tayo na holistic dapat yung approach natin sa pag-solve ng various environmental issues. And alam naman natin na magkakaiba or sobrang dami ng ecosystem sa ating bansa at sa buong mundo. So right now, we have 7, pero ang pagtutuunan natin ng pansin ngayong hapon ay medyo terrestrial tsaka forest ecosystem. And hindi pa doon natatapos yung role ng NVSI kasi tatawid naman tayo dun sa different components wherein merong physical, biological, social, economic, and institutional. Each of these 5 components are usually present in every ecosystem. That's why we try our best na makapag-invite ng iba't ibang panauhing tagapagsalita who focuses on different ecosystems and components as well. And with that, pinapakilala natin yung panauhing tagapagsalita ngayong hapon, who focuses on the environmental research in Quezon Province. So we have Dr. Katrina G. and Guy Gutierrez, registered professional forester and environmental planner. And she graduated BSc Forestry in UPLB. Also, she took her degree in Masters in Environmental Science in the UPLB School of Environmental Science and Management, and very, very fresh, PhD Environmental Science by Research, Cognate in Forest Resource Management. At Kat, you can have the floor.
Hi, thank you, Sir Kendrick. Makikisuyo po ako to share my Canva link na presentation. So, kumusta naman ang ating mga estudyante on a Saturday? Ni-require sila na umattend dito. Loud and clear naman
Naka-flash na
ako.
ba, ate?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Ate Kat.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. So,
Okay.
all right, sige. Just to start lang the vibe, may I request everyone to please heart react naman dyan. Okay, para hindi naman tayo napipilitan na nag-attend dito. Sige. Wow, thank you for that. Okay. So this afternoon, I'm very happy that PAES invited me to share this work. Not only my work, but it is also the work of our students at Southern Luzon State University. At the same time, my colleagues at the Forestry and Environmental Science, the College of Agriculture, Southern Luzon State University in Lucban, Quezon. So para po dun sa mga hindi taga Quezon, para maging familiar po kayo, kung nasaan po kami ngayon, ay nakikita niyo po yung nakapin dyan sa map. Yan po ang lugar kung nasaan po matatagpuan ang Southern Luzon State University. And I'm also encouraging you to please visit our page, no, slsu.edu.ph. Okay. So today, the talk is focused more on forest resource management. So tatlong aspects po yung pag-uusapan natin. Forest resource management, environmental planning and management, and environmental resource analysis. Kasi po ito na yung marami na kaming nagawa at SLSU. At the same time, ito din po yung mga na-publish namin na mga works that is available online, and you can access them freely. Okay, next please. All right, so allow me to share po the program educational objectives of the BS Environmental Science. I'm sure natutuwa yung mga estudyante kong nandito at nakikita nila yung mga pagmumukha nila dun sa mga photos. So one of the objectives of the program is to use the various sciences in the study of the environment, employing scientific method as its principal framework, and apply whichever science is needed to the study of the environment. Second, recognize the critical role of human society in the environment, laying the groundwork for the effective management of the environment. And third, produce graduates equipped with multidisciplinary and integrated tools and approaches and perspectives and values related to environmental problems and concerns. For the BS Forestry program, so we educate students to become professional foresters equipped with the social, economic, and environmental dimensions of forestry resources. Develop them to become competent researchers and academicians in order to advance growth of forestry science. And train students to become leaders in proper conservation and development of forest resources. For our graduate programs, we offer at SLSU two graduate programs. One is MS Environmental Science, and the other one is Master in Forestry. So for MSES, we develop them for contemporary thinking individuals with a holistic approach to resource planning and management, enhance them to understand the unique problems of the environment, environmental skills, policy planning, and analytical skills. Also, we would want them to become experts in the practical field skills supported by cutting-edge tools for geospatial analysis, multi-resource assessment, and finance. And for the Master in Forestry, we only have two program objectives: to develop them to become competent individuals as researchers, academicians, planners, and leaders with advanced knowledge on social, economic, and environmental dimensions, and become experts in the sustainable management of forest ecosystems in the current increasingly complex market. Produce graduates with the expertise of practical field skills supported by cutting-edge tools for geospatial analysis, multi-resource assessment, and finance. So given all the different program goals for these four different programs, we suit our students with the following environmental researches para po connect o di kaya ay ma-achieve po namin itong mga objectives na ito sa kanila. At isa doon ay one is on forest resource assessment. And as mentioned nga po ni Sir Kendrick kanina, our college or our campus is located at the foot of Mount Banahaw. So mamaya may video ako na ipipresent para makita po ninyo kung nasaan po talaga kami. And of course, because we are at the foot of Mount Banahaw, it's undeniably that we focus on forest health, on biodiversity, on economic viability, and reforestation research activity. Next, please. So ito po yung ilan sa mga research na nagawa na ng aming mga estudyante. For example po, the optimization of polymerase chain reaction or the PCR cycling condition for the DNA barcoding of a particular species, that is Syzygium nitidum, also for Litsea latensis. And then most of the research also focused on macro propagation. Pag sinabing macro propagation, we are doing vegetative propagation. We are using plant parts in order to grow a particular species. Okay, and we also utilize different technologies. One is on the clonal propagation technology. The other one is the use of mycorrhiza technology. By the way, itong DNA barcoding po, at present, even if we do not have a facility at Southern Luzon State University, we collaborate with the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, particularly the College of Forestry and Natural Resources, doon po sa kanilang laboratory doon. And then the students are being invited, or the students are allowed or permitted to utilize that facility of UPLB in order to do this DNA barcoding of trees. And then not only for cloning, no, we also focus on the survival and growth performance of our outplanted clones. This is in support to the National Greening Program of the Philippine government by virtue of Executive Order number 26 in 2011. So may estudyante po tayo na nag-monitor ng growth performance nitong mga clones natin doon sa mga NGP sites sa Pagbilao. Also, pinag-aralan din yung paggamit ng blue LED light in order to grow some tree species, and how do they perform under these conditions. Next, please. Okay, and then from macro, there were students that have been mentored in order to do naman tissue culture, or the technical term for it is often used as micro propagation. So may tissue culture tayong ginagawa that is using a particular explant. Okay, yung explant, kinukuhaan po siya ng tissue, and then yun po yung inilalagay sa mga growing medium or growth media, and then patutubuin po siya para magkaroon po siya ng mga calluses, and eventually mag-roots, and eventually tumubo siya bilang isang halaman din. So that is done inside the tissue culture laboratory, because at SLSU we have a tissue culture laboratory. So recently po ay nagkaroon ng parang housewarming or inauguration, kasi siya po ay dinevelop ulit. In-improve, in-upgrade po siya. And then others are more focused now on vegetative propagation, preliminary studies on tissue culture, and even macro propagation po, or using the culm cuttings of bamboo. Okay, so mostly ito ay para naman sa reforestation purposes. Okay, next. And then for forest health, there is a student who studied on the leaf diseases of mangrove species in Lucena City. So nakakatawa, at may mga batang interested po on how the health or the disease affect po the growth and at the same time yung yung productive capability po ng ating mga mangroves. And while some other students also focused on the distribution and natural regeneration of trees, even did some physical characteristics and land suitability assessments. Some others focused on basidiomycetes in Binahaan River, distribution and composition of threatened forest trees, and also not only trees, but there are studies that have been done on the inventory and distribution of understory vegetation, or what we call as the lower vascular plants at the northeastern part of Mount Banahaw, Dilokban. Okay, next please. All right, so just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, this vegetative propagation, no? I am sharing with you this open access paper titled SNP Interventions on Quality Planting Production of Batikuling Lixea latensis for the wood-based industry of Paitay, Laguna, Philippines. Although the project is intended for the people of Laguna, the research was actually conducted at the SLSU Clonal Forestry Nursery in Lucban, Quezon. So here are my co-authors. They were my EJ Tinamisan was my former student and even an RA, Forester de Meili, Dr. Durante, a colleague, and then other students, Ms. Gatson, Ms. Nolasco, Mr. Ravanzo, and Dr. Maldilla of UPLB, College of Forestry and Natural Resources. So, ano yung mga ginawa namin doon? So, doon yung isang part, yung tungkol doon sa DNA barcoding. So, ito yung sample. Yung picture on your left is the electrophoresis gel electropherograms of the RBCL fragment. So pinapakita lang po dito na wala pong variations doon po sa mga species na pinapagate namin. Ibig sabihin po ay genetically and phenotypically ay iisa po sila. And then ito naman po yung itsura kapag stem cuttings po ay pinapagate natin using rooting hormones. So nagkakaugat po yan at the shortest possible time, usually in 1 to 3 months, no? Nagkakaroon na yan ng mga roots because we are using hormones. In this case, we utilize the alpha-naphthalene acetic acid or NAA. Okay, so ito naman yung on the right naman na photo is the stem cuttings with mycorrhiza. Na this time it is applied with indole butyric acid. Okay. So, pwede niyo po itong ma-access sa IOP Conference Series Earth and Environmental Science. Next po. And then, additional results, no? Aside from doing the nursery research activities, we also developed some information materials so that this information material as an output of our research becomes will be utilized, okay, becomes an information material to do some trainings on vegetative propagation. So it's a continuum from research and then we go to extension. And then eventually, siguro in the future, when these trees grow and harvestable na, then we also go now to production. But actually, right now, this kind of study is in its production stage na, only that we are in the seedling production process. We are not yet on the harvesting of the timber. Okay? So, dun sa line ng production na yon. So, itong mga information materials ay written in both English and Filipino so that the Filipino translation will be understood by the stakeholders or by the trainers once we go to the communities where we conduct IEC information campaigns and even a training on this kind of propagation. Okay. Next po. Then another is isa sa mga pinaka-paborito kong research accomplishment way back 2017, 2017, pero ito po ay fresh na fresh, kapapublish lang po nito noong 2022, is the identification po of plus and mother trees in Mount Banahaw, Valley. So, ano bang ibig sabihin ng plus and mother trees? So, ang mga plus trees, ito po yung sinasabi natin na may mga edge na mga puno as compared dun sa mga iba pang mga trees, di ba? So, parang sa isang beauty pageant, meron tayong candidate trees sa bundok. Okay? So, ano yan, nilalakad namin yan by elevation gradient. Nagsiset up kami ng mga different plots by elevation. And then, we identify there some candidate trees, and then we score them based on their phenotypic characteristics. So, ano yung phenotypic? Yun yung mga physical attributes na makikita doon sa puno. And we look into the crown, we look on how the branches are being distributed, ano yung stem form niya, ano yung kanyang health conditions. So, meron naman tayong sinusunod po na protocol in assessing plus and mother trees. Kapag sinabi namang mother trees, ito yung mga puno na kapag on the time, at the time na nagkakandak tayo ng assessment is itong puno na to ay meron siyang mga evident na mga wildlings or seedlings doon sa forest floor. So sila ay mga mother ang tawag, or maaaring sila po ay namumulaklak or namumunga at the time of assessment. So we consider them as mother trees, but also following the same guideline. I think that is DAO 2010-11. So yun yung sinusundan natin in order to assess them. And we were able to find dito yung nakalist lang ng mga plus trees is at 21 plus trees, and we mapped them from 758 MASL up to I think hanggang 1.8 po yung meron tayo magagandang klase ng puno na pwede nating maging gawin na seed production areas, so that when we do reforestation, we have good quality planting materials. So we are assured that the survival of the seedlings or wildlings will be better compared to dun sa mga hindi gasinong maganda or less quality planting material. So in this case, we are assured that we are the trees that we assess would provide us the quality planting materials that we need for reforestation activity. Okay? So ito din po is nakapublish under Journal of Environmental Science and Management in 2022, and this is co-authored by Forester Di Mailig and my former RA Forester Jenny Yapo. Okay? Next po. All right. Now for the environmental planning and management, syempre dahil ang first love ko ay forestry, then syempre yun yung medyo marami-rami din tayong mga nagawang mga research doon, at marami din mga estudyante ang na-mentor natin on that part. But also in EPM, dahil tayo din po ay ang second love natin ay envi planning. So yung pinakagusto ko ng mga research na ginagawa is more on land use and land cover change. Why? Because land use and land cover provides you parang it's a continuum. Parang you look at the past condition of the land, and then you are at the present right now. Ano yung nakikita natin na condition ng land right now at present, and then we can project, no? Based on its history and current condition, we can project what will be the future use or cover of this particular land. So very interesting to, kasi ginagamitan natin siya ng geographic information system application. And also, we examine what are some of the environmental impacts associated with land use and land cover change that will be relevant for resource planning and for financial management and many more, no? So very forward looking yung ganitong klase ng mga research, visionary kumbaga. Okay? So dahil po sa Quezon, there are right now, there are ongoing infrastructure projects. Medyo fast-paced po ngayon ang mga infra, especially po with the, kaya may nilagay ako dyan ng mga windmill kasi we are also the seat or kino-consider po ang Quezon as a power hub in Region 4. Ang dami po ngayon mga windmills na itinatayo. Meron pang, aside from the existing coal plants, there are uh, what do you call this, the liquefied natural gas na mga proposed sources of energy in the province. So these are researchable areas talaga. And I cannot, I could not provide you know about the research on this aspect kasi yung mostly sa mga estudyante ko ay they are still doing data gathering, so I don't have the right, I don't have the right to share pa. So siguro maybe in the future mai-share natin ito, no, Sir Kendrick, kung ako bibigyan ng pagkakataon pa sa next Pantas. Okay, so yung next slide po is kung ano na lang muna yung mga research accomplishments natin on this aspect. So yung mga first batches ko noon ng students, BSES students, sila yung mga hype na nag-conduct ng mga land use change doon po sa Lucena City. Some others naman, they did some energy audit on our electrical consumption in the College of Agriculture. Tapos ni-replicate naman nung isang estudyante, ginawa naman doon sa isang LGU po sa Lumban, Laguna. And then, yung mga sumunod na is more on the farming practices. Kasi in land use and land cover change, nagmamatter po na dinodocument natin ano yung mga farming practices po sa iba't ibang lugar at anong yung practice na yun na ginagawa nila. Maybe in response to perceived climate change, pwedeng yung practices naman may kinalaman sa household waste. So yun po yung mga studies na under this category. Okay. Next, please. And then there are some others that need some physico-chemical properties ng mga river kasi there are like mga SMEs po, meron din pong mga poultry production, may mga livestock yung livestock production na engagement po ng mga tao dito sa Quezon, no? So yun yung mga aspects na pinag-aralan po nila. And then yung mga vegetable production, others naman did some water audit and water conservation, but most of which are focused on farming practices or soil conservation practices. Kasi doon po natin makikita kung magiging sustainable ba yung land or yung soil or nagkakaroon kaya ng impact ito, yung practices nila doon sa nearby river system, or will it deplete the available currently available nutrients of the soil or maybe in the future. So given those, yun yung mga ina-assess po natin para po mabigyan din natin ng tamang recommendations po yung ating mga farmers or yung ating mga stakeholders that are engaged in agriculture or agricultural system. Okay, next po. And then, but this one is not in Quezon, this is in Laguna. Actually, this is my MSES research way back in 2011. Just ko, ang tanda ko na babata pa ng mga nandito sa ating Zoom. So, way back in 2011, I did this research as a requirement, no, partial fulfillment of the requirement in MSES at the School of Environmental Science and Management. So if you happen to visit po Tagaytay, have you been there? Can I have a thumbs up for the people who already went to Tagaytay? Oh, may nakikita akong 4, 5. Okay, so that's good. So if you happen to be in Tagaytay, actually, nung inassess ko po ito, yung 1993, yung land use niya noong 1993 to 2008, ang laki-laki po ng pagbaba nangyari doon. Kasi mostly, if you see the lower portion po of the map, pointing po on the red colors, no? Those are built up areas. So yung from 1993, nagkaroon ng increase of built up areas to 2008. And then yung mga green areas, that refers to the perennials or yung mga trees or coconut. And kumonti siya from 1993 to 2008. So kung makikita niyo po yung illustration dito, anong tawag dito sa illustration na ito? Can I have a chat dito sa chat box? Could someone chat? What do you call that one? Yung parang that drawing there in 3 colors with the upland, midslope, and lowland. What do you call that? Sige nga, testing natin sa ating mga estudyante nandito ngayon sa Zoom. Pa-chat po. Anong tawag? Okay. Talagang si Akemi ay active. So Akemi is my student na third year. Okay. Thank you. Puro third year BSES to nagre-respond. So it is a transect map. Okay, a transect map kasi tinitingnan natin po yung isang lugar on a side view. Okay, so sa side view po niya, yung upland area niya, yung transition po, nagkaroon ng deforestation, tapos nagtanim sila ng coffee, tapos nagtanim sila ng pineapple. Kaso lang po, ano ang naging epekto nito? Nagkaroon ng soil erosion, nagkaroon ng soil acidity. Dun sa mid-slope naman, with the presence of Hacienda Saiz, nagtanim sila ng sugar cane. But then, dahil nagkaroon po ng pagbabago through time, no, yung sugar cane with industries has become an industrial and residential area. And again, may soil erosion pong nangyari dyan. And then yung lowland areas, yung dating mga rice fields, na sources nila or prime sources or of income eventually was converted to industrial and residential and sold this for their economic gains. And as you all know, there is flooding na nangyari na kasi syempre with all the runoff, kung may intense rain, mataas ang ulan, ay di malamang po nawalan tayo ng gubat doon sa itaas para po makapag-filter sana nung ulan or lakas ng ulan, and at the same time ma-absorb po doon sa ilalim ng lupa itong mga tubig, ay nangyari ay naging surface runoff, nag-lead sa soil erosion, and at the same time nag-cause din ng flooding. So yun yung model na ginawa ko for this particular Silang Santa Rosa River subwatershed that is in Laguna. And at present po, I had students na who defended their thesis recently na ganito din halos po yung kanilang mga studies, but this time ay sa iba't ibang munisipyo naman ng Quezon. At nakakalungkot lang kasi po talagang increasing yung mga impervious surfaces. When I say impervious surfaces, these are built up areas that could not absorb the water that is coming from the upland. So anong mangyayari po? Most likely, these built up areas will be flooded, and syempre, no, ang impact ng flooding, that could be the loss of life, how it could damage property. So next, please. All right. The next naman is we go back again to that part of species, no? So, isa sa mga paborito kong species ay si Litsea laytensis. I often tell my students that Litsea is my third baby apart from my 2 kids. So, Litsea sa mga puno ay siya po yung ikatlo kong baby. So, pinag-aralan ko po siya. Bakit? Kasi Litsea laytensis po is one of the 3 species that happens to be a good source of wood for carving. Okay? So, para po sa mga Roman Catholic, yung ginagawa pong mga sacred images, yung mga carved statues, embellishments, yan. Yung wood po ng Lydsea latensis ang ginagamit dito. At ito yung premium species na preferred ng mga wood carvers doon sa Paete, Laguna para sa kanilang industriya ng pag-uukit. Okay. So, but then, Lydsea, pero mapapansin niyo no, ang kanyang specific epithet is latensis. So, una po kasi itong nakita ni Meryl sa Leyte. Pero sa totoo po, ay mas marami, sa tingin ko, ay mas marami po ang populasyon nito sa Laguna at saka sa Quezon. Dahil nung kami po ay pumunta ng Leyte, ay halos wala na po kaming matrace na remnants ng species na to at iba na po yung tinutukoy nila na Lydsea latensis doon sa Leyte no kami po ay nag reconnaissance survey. So I did a model, a species distribution modeling here. So it is another GIS application. First is you need to locate the occurrence points. That is why if you see the yellow dots there dun sa map, and even the dark blue dots on the map, these are location points. So if you have such kind of data, these location points, you can play on them by overlaying different biophysical variables. So what are these biophysical variables? You can use mga physical variables like slope, elevation, you can use topography, you can even use soil type or geology. You can also input existing vegetation. You can also input land use there. You can also input population ng tao, human population, and many others. You can even utilize climatic projections or climate trends, okay? So, i-input mo po siya lahat and then there is a software that we can use in which it can predict how the species will occur given all those combination of biophysical variables. So, you then, ano nga ang tawag doon? We call it maximum entropy softwares or MaxEnt. Okay? So, gamit yon ay di pwede po natin siyang paglaruan at pwede po nating malaman kung hanggang saan or hanggang kailan natin makikita itong species na ito given all of those. So, yung darker colors doon sa map shows the greater occurrence, okay, or high occurrence of the species, while the yellow one is the low occurrence of the species in both provinces. Okay, so di ba, ang ganda, nakikita natin kung paano yung conservation management na gagawin natin para sa kanya. So hindi basta lang na, ay sige, pwede natin itanim yan doon sa may mga yellow part, pero baka hindi siya mabuhay. So yun yung gamit niyan eh. So saan po tayo mas malamang na magtatanim? Ay di doon po sa mga areas na may darker colors hanggang green kasi doon po siya most likely na magiging suitable. Okay? So that is very useful po sa conservation management of a particular species that happens to be threatened na because of its low supply. Okay? Next po. And then lastly, naku, parang nakakatulog na yata sila Sir Kendrick. Okay. So, lastly is on the environmental resource analysis. Ay, may nag-heart pa. Okay, thank you. I know that someone is listening pa. Environmental resource analysis. So, in environmental resource analysis, marami po tayo dyan ginagawa. Although, ang i-highlight ko na lang muna dito is on the institutional analysis because we do not only look into the plants, we do not only look on trees, we do not look only on the flora and fauna component, but we also look at the involvement of different agencies or organizations or government institutions, how they contribute, okay, to resource management. So, maganda yon. I-analyze natin yung mga different institutions. Ano bang ginagawa nila? Or sapat ba yung mga plans and programs or activities yung PPAs nila in order to really contribute to management, to sustainable development, ganyan. Okay? And then another one is on carrying capacity. How much that particular ecosystem or system could actually carry so that we will not go beyond its dun sa kaya niyang i-absorb at hindi po siya ma-pollute or masira, ma-degrade. Okay? And of course, when we do ENVI resource analysis, we also use GIS applications and many other theoretical and conceptual frameworks that will be relevant in doing these kinds of analysis. Right? So, kindly flash the next slide, please. So there are studies that have been done by my students, not only in Quezon, but some did some carrying capacity of Hulugan Falls, Mangayaw Beach, even the Maniwaya Island. Have you been to Marinduque? It's a very nice place. So dapat mapuntahan niyo po to in Santa Cruz, White Sand. Ako nag-heart si Darren. Oo, Darren, nakarating ka na yata dyan. Sino kasama mo? And then, even domestic water use in Tai Nguyen province in Vietnam. I'm very happy because I had a student, we had a BSES student who is a Vietnamese way back, I don't know, parang way back 2018 tato. He did that kind of study. And then another one is the projection of water demand in Mauban, soil erosion vulnerability assessment of Samil subwatershed, and even sustainability assessment of landfill site here in Lokban, Quezon. Kasi that time po very controversial yung pagkakaroon ng sanitary landfill ng Lokban. Okay? So, naging contributory yung thesis ni Ms. Saturay dito. Next. Alright. So, yeah, okay. So, isa lang dun sa mga na-publish namin or subject namin for intellectual property is yung prepare po namin ni na Dr. Garcia, Dr. Almazol, and Dr. Gutierrez and Forrester Pulan on the habitat suitability model naman of these are different species. I think there are 4 lang yung nandito pero I think yung nagawa is 7. So yun yung mga gamit po ng GIS po dyan. Next po. So ito yung yeah, you can access this in at the UP Los Baños Journal. This was published in July, December 2022. So I did an analysis on the sustainability of native trees in the greening initiatives of the Philippines. So in that study, we developed a framework on sustainability of trees given all the different contributory factors such as yung mga government objectives, ano ba yung mga government greening initiatives, and ano yung sustainability parameters in terms of economy, environment or economic, environmental, and socio-cultural. And then may SWOT analysis or SWOT assessment din po dyan so that we can really see what is the future direction of using or utilizing native trees in the national greening program or any other or any reforestation projects that the Philippine government is implementing. So sinasabi doon sa future direction that we should recognize that appropriate science-based adaptation policies and strategies are necessary. Also, yung mga partnerships hindi lang po sa level lang ng dapat kunwari DENR, kundi isama pati po ang mga state universities and colleges, lalo't higit yung mga SUCs po na ang ino-offer ng mga courses ay BS Forestry at BS Environmental Science. Kasi malaki po yung role nila para po masustain yung presence ng paggamit ng native trees other than exotic species or invasive alien species in tree planting projects or tree growing initiatives. And then, syempre po, hindi sapat yung partnership, kundi syempre dapat meron tayong financial support. Kailangan na kailangan po yun. Kasi kung wala po tayong sources of funding, then how can we implement different activities in relation to this? Okay? So, ito po yung naging parang pinakang buod ng kung ano ang meron po sa research na ito. Next po. And then another one, sabi ko nga, yung pag-aaral po ng iba't ibang institusyon na may kinalaman po sa pag-conserve or pamamahala natin ng mga species. So, tinitingnan natin dyan, ano ba yung significant role ng DNR? Ano yung significant role ng mga LGUs, ng mga Municipal Agricultural Office, ng mga Municipal Environment and Natural Resources Office, ng academe katulad ng Southern Luzon State University, ng mga barangay, di ba? Kasi yun yung mga lowest level, di ba, ng political natin, elementary and high schools, DepEd, di ba? Non-government organization or people's organization, even the involvement of other government agencies like Department of Agriculture, DSWD. Pero at the heart of all this, no, if these institutions have an interplay, at the very heart of this, we look into the family, diba? As the basic unit of institution, how the family is founded on environmental conservation, on environmental education. Are they environmentally literate? Yung ganun, di ba? So, kung yung family is walang ganun sa kanya, then how could we expect cooperation among all the other greater institutions? Yung basic unit ay wala siyang foundation. That is the very core of conservation management. Kaya siguro naisip ko din, kaya medyo mahirap po mag-implement ng ganitong klase ng mga programa sa ating bansa kasi hindi po na-inculcate at a very young age yung pagmamahal natin sa ating kapaligiran. Oo, nandyan yung pagmamahal para sa ating bansa, pero parang naiiwanan yung tinatawag natin na compassion natin dun sa kapaligiran kung saan po tayo nakatira. Mas madalas ginugusto natin na lumabas doon sa kung saan nandito na tayo. Hinahayaan natin ang ating mga sarili na maimpluwensyahan tayo para hindi natin mapansin yung mga maliliit na bagay that will give us pleasure when we are in this particular environment. So, yan yung parang gustong ipakita ng paper na to. So, tingnan niya lahat, yung iba't ibang variables on the biogeophysical setting, what is the community, what are the community characteristics, the rules in use, the action situations, sino-sino yung mga actors, ano yung pattern of interaction of these actors, and then ano yung naging outcome ng mga projects na in-implement nitong mga institutions na to with their interaction. And so they are being evaluated based on the relevance, on coherence, on effectiveness, efficiency, sustainability, and impact. Okay? So, ano ang lumalabas? So, maganda naman yung naging resulta po nitong institutional analysis na there is a high involvement or stewardship doon sa part po ng mga institutions for the conservation management of this lips area. Okay? Next po. Meron pa ba? Ayan. So that ends lahat po yung tatlong sectors kung saan meron po tayong mga researches. Pero hindi po yung limited lang doon. Ang pinakita lang ko lang ngayon is more on the studies na meron na yung mga naging advisee ko at saka ako. But my colleagues have even have different researches pa way beyond all this that I have presented. So if you want, then you can just visit po our library, or you can also contact our college so that you will be enlightened more about the environmental researches that we have in Quezon. So right now, the ongoing research projects I have two research projects ngayon that I handled for 2024 to 2026. So one is on, next slide please, on the propagation of taxus or the Himalayan yew. So that is Taxus wallichiana. So why we did this? Because this species is a source of taxol, and taxol is utilized for an anti-cancer drug. Okay, and this Taxus wallichiana is found in Mount Banahaw, Dilokban. So napakalaki yung potential nito para magamit natin siya in the future for the advancement of medicine, specifically po sa paggagamot ng cancer. And you know, this is very close to my heart because I'm also a cancer patient way back 2019. I had stage 1, so this is really a passion, and at the same time, an advocacy to do this kind of research project. So we are doing this, and I have a student who is also doing the experimental part of this project. Okay? Hopefully makapag-present na siya next week, makapag-defend na. Next is on the biodiversity naman. Yung next is more on the phenology and propagation also. Next po. That is a PCARD funded project. Pero matatapos na po siya ngayong June. So marami po kaming ginawa dyan. Ipe-present po namin siya later on sa mga research conferences, and abangan nyo po yung mga ipapublish po namin mga papers dahil sobrang varied po yung mga activities po na ginawa namin dyan. So meron dun sa part ng phenology, may propagation, may habitat characterization. Pero ang focus po nito is more on the threatened, but then they are economically valuable flora. So may future direction din po ito na baka pwedeng magamit yung mga tree species for medical purposes. So before I end, next please. Yeah, is it moving? Before I end, I want to share lang that of all the researches that we conducted in Quezon and even in Mount Banahaw, this is contributory to the passing of the policy for Mount Banahaw San Cristobal Protected Landscape, and that is in 2009. So that is RA 9847. And still, we continue doing the research even if the policy is already in place. Why? Because we would like to sustain at maproteksyonan po ang Mount Banahaw, because that is a mystic and majestic mountain, and it serves as it is a reflection of the culture and the kind of people that we are in Quezon Province on how we manage Mount Banahaw. And SLSU is playing a very active role in doing so. And then next please. So may reflection dun ha. So in conclusion po, all researchers need further studies of course. Still meron tayong nakikita mga gap dyan. And then syempre po dapat ay meron tayong continuous na funding and support. Yung tinatawag nating nurturing environment sa sa mga research na ginagawa natin. Kasi kung hindi nurturing yung environment, hindi mo po magagawa ang mga bagay na ito. Okay? And then third po is we cannot do this alone. No man is an island. So we need others. We need linkages. We need partnerships. We have to establish agreements or memorandum of understanding so that not only us is aware of what we are doing, but we also try to share this to other stakeholders or to the community for better appreciation of the research that we are doing. Hindi yung tinatago lang natin sa mga library shelves and then wala na, naalakabukan na, ganun. Okay? And I just want to share a video here. Natuwa lang ako dito sa ginawa ng aking mga estudyante sa BSES. Sila po yung 4th year na ngayon, pero nung ginawa nila ito, this was nung sila ay 3rd year, when they are under my supervision sa environmental education. And they composed this official hymn of the SLSU College of Agriculture. Sige po, paki-play po, Sir Ken. Naman.
Ikaw ay may pangangamba sa iyong daan, ay mayroong umahalang maging tadhanay. Sa iyo'y pumapasan, takbo ng hangin, nililihis sa iyong landas.
Halina't suungin, matayog na mga alon. Halina't tamuhin ang hain ng panahon. Kinabukasan ng kalikasan, bawat isa ay aasahan. Pagtuklas ng kabundukan, kapatag at sensyang kapaligiran. Magdalang mag-alinlangan sa magiging palalakbay. Tiyak sa kamay ang akay, sa yapak naman ang gabay. Walang mundo ang inaahon mula sa tuktok, walang ani. Kung ang lupa'y walang binhi, walang ligi, ang mundong walang silid. Halina't suungin, matayog na mga alon. Matayog na mga alon. Halina't tamuhin ang hain ng panahon. Ang hain ng kinabukasan ng kalikasan, bawat isa ay aasahan. Pagtuklas ng kabundukan, kapatag at sensyang kapaligiran. Magdalang mag-alinlangan sa magiging palalakbay. Tiyak sa kamay ang akay, sa yapak naman ang gabay.
Diba sabi nga nila, magtanim ay di biro, mananakit ang iyong likod, maghapong nakayuko.
Wala tayong aaninin kung walang itatanim, walang
Silid,
kung walang
ligid, alagaan ng paligid.
kaya't buksan ang iyong mata, mundong may lihim at ganda. Sa bawat hakbang ng mga paa, tanong at hamon ang kasama. At sa gitna ng hamon, tayo maging matatag.
Tulad ng bundok matayog, di hindi mabubuwag.
God, let's go!
Kinabukasan ng kalikasan, bawat isa ay aasahan. Pagtuklas ng kabundukan, kapatag at sensyang kapaligiran. Magdalang mag-alinlangan sa magiging palalakbay. Tiyak sa kamay ang akay, sa yapak naman ang gabay.
God tayo, God
Okay, so thank you very much, no, for the time that is given to me to showcase this kind of work of our students at the College of Agriculture. And I'm forever proud for this kind of work na ginawa nila. It is already subjected for intellectual property. So thank you po, and to God be the highest glory sa lahat ng ating mga ginagawa at na-accomplish. Sir Kendrick.
Okay, wait lang ate.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so feel ko mag-overtime ako sa dami ng gusto kong sabihin. Sobrang
Sige po.
ganda nung ending, grabe. Sobrang saya ate. Pero siguro, before we proceed with the official talastasan, bibigyan muna kita ng time para magpahinga. And magsa-shoutout lang ako dun sa mga universities na umattend sa Facebook Live na hindi natin natawag kanina. So we have Marinduque State University. So kagaya nga po nung sinabi mo kanina, nag-research rin kayo sa MARSU, SNSU, Surigao del Norte State University. Wait lang po, naghahanga aking reference of that tatawagin. Pero wait. Surigao del Norte, DBMSCAT, MSU Sindangan. Live chat po kasi kaya hindi na siya nagre-reflect. Pero marami pong university na nanonood kayo. And Ate Kat, siguro, just to share, nasa 1,200 na po yung nanonood ng ating
Wow,
webinar. So
grabe.
it's,
Jump pa.
although nasa 40 plus lang tayo dito sa Zoom, syempre national yung ating organization. So
Yeah, yeah.
maraming makakano
Nice.
nito. And even after the live today, manonood pa sila after this and then sa YouTube natin. Pero going back dun sa ating typical summary, nahirapan akong mag-summary kasi ay hindi, before pala dun sa summary, shout out muna dun sa ating advisor, kay Doc Vicky tsaka kay Doc Jack. Kita niyo naman po yung mga
Yes.
students niyo. Go Sesam!
Yeah,
Proud
yeah.
sila
You
sa atin.
know, yeah, yeah.
Na ano nga ako
Okay.
ate, may war flashbacks yung 220 natin. Na-publish mo pala yung 220 kay study mo.
Oo, institutional analysis.
Okay. Mm. Sige po. Dun sa summary, usually 3 pero kailangan ko po maging 4.
Sige.
Yung una, nagustuhan ko o ano, DocCat na pala yung tatawag ko sa'yo. DocCat, yung, kasi ang typical alam natin is research and extension. Pero tinawid mo siya sa production kasi forestry yung core mo. And hindi lang naman sapat na or nagre-raise tayo ng awareness. But at the end of the day, meron din kasing production side yung forestry. At i-harvest naman talaga natin yung mga punong tinatanim natin. So, hindi naman masamang mag-harvest as long as you harvest it sustainably and you plant it dun sa mga karapat-dapat na lugar. And grabe application ng GIS. Alam mo kung saan siya pwedeng itanim, hindi basta-basta. The closest thing na kaya kong lapitan sa forestry is tree growing. Lahat na sinabi mo kanina medyo new sa akin. And then, second, naitawid mo kasi yung story. Ang ganda ng storyline mo actually, Dokat. Yung core technical knowledge mo on forestry, then you applied it sa land cover. And then biglang tumawid sa institutional analysis. So grabe yung training sa atin ng CESA. Hindi nilalabas nila tayo dun sa shell
Sobra.
natin na yung BS
Oo.
natin ito pero
Yeah.
marami ka pang matututunan. So kung gusto niyo
Yeah.
po maging kasing galing ni Doc Kat, alam niyo na. Then, lastly, same po tayo dun sa third, yung linkages.
Yes.
Importante kasi ngayon yung pagpa-partnership with different universities, like what we do in PAES, kasi hindi lang naman isang university magaling. And baka pa nga pag nagtulungan yung dalawang university, mas gumanda yung outputs natin, yung mga services natin, yung mga programs natin. So sana dun sa mga nanonood sa atin, even if hindi pa kayo ganun ka-aware dun sa ibang universities na nag-o-offer ng NVISI, try reaching out sa PAES and then ipapakilala namin kayo sa iba't ibang universities para at least alam nyo,
Oo.
no, yung katabing region nyo pala nag-o-offer din ng NVISI. Pwede
Oo.
kayong mag-partner.
Nalimutan kong banggitin, we have a partnership with Benguet State University and Batangas State University. They are doing OJT with us. Ganon.
Okay, hello po sa Benguet State and Batangas. Sana pala pinatin din natin sila. Si ano po ba to?
Oo.
Benguet State na NVISI?
Yes, and forestry.
Mm.
Forestry.
So Benguet State, Ate Karen, pa-member na kayo sa atin.
Sige,
Okay.
sasabihin
And then,
natin.
yung last, yung pinakamagandang ano mo, Ate Kat, ay, Doc Kat. Kasi I mean, sa haba ng research na pinagdaanan mo, naka-jackpot ka na naging RA yung pinaghirapan mo. So
Ah.
ngayon, yung mga nagti-thesis or nagti-case study or nag-OJT, kung sa tingin nyo sa ngayon ay short term lang yung ginagawa nyo, but in the future, baka meron ulit isang batas na maging RRL yung thesis nyo, yung mga case studies nyo. Kaya sa mga magde-defense this month, kasi April ay thesis season, ilaban nyo lang yan. Malay nyo, maging
Yeah,
reference kayo
oo.
ng ibang
Yes.
future researchers.
Yes.
And nakalimutan ko yung last point ko, pero babalikan ko na lang later. But basically, yun po yung pinaka
Is it
masaya.
about
And
the song?
meron akong isa pa dyan, pang 5 na na south na summary. Tawag doon, swerte ko na naging friend kita sa UPLB, pero I'm
Oh,
really
me too.
lucky. I mean, seeing yung effort mo as department chair, ang swerte ng mga estudyante mo. Grabe yung pagturo mo, yung pag-explain mo. Andun yung puso mo sa kanila. So, sa mga ES students ng SLSU, Southern Luzon State University, galingan nyo kasi sobrang galing ng depth chair. Okay.
Parang lalo ako na-pressure doon.
Hindi. Deserve na deserve ka nila. Deserve mo rin yung spot mo.
Oh, thank you so
Okay.
much. Ang dami nag-heart.
Yes. Okay. And dahil dyan, kailangan ko palang talagang pumunta ng SLSU in the coming months, years. Basta
Yes.
kailangan ko
Please
pumunta
visit
dyan.
us sa Pahiyas
Yes,
on
I
May
will visit
15.
you.
Yeah. Oo.
Okay. May utang ako sa inyo kasi nag-cancel ako ng isang speaking engagement sa inyo. So, babawi ako. Okay. Sige po. Proceed lang tayo dun sa sa ating talastasan. So, merong 5 questions from meron daw yung rapper daw, sorry, short commercial. Bias na rin sila ng ibang members ng PAES. Nakakatuwa. Actually, ang galing, para siyang K-pop kasi biglang nag-rap on the middle of the song. Okay. Anyway, going back sa ating talastasan. So, meron tayong 3 chosen sa registration form. And then, meron akong dalawang medyo mahirap, compre levels. Pero ano lang, sakto lang. Pwede kang hindi sumagot dun sa last 2 questions, no, Kat? So, dun sa
Sige.
unang question, ito ay from SLSU, Tubong Lukban, Tubong Kaibso. How can we, students, help on promoting the courses related to environmental science, knowing that it is not known on most senior high school students?
Magandang tanong yan. So, una sa lahat, kung kayo po ay simulan niyo po sa inyong mga pamilya, i-educate niyo po sila sa inyong course kasi kayo lang din po ang makakapag-explain sa kanila ng tama kahit na hindi ko sila kakilala, pero kayo, kakilala nila kayo. Kayo ang kasama nila. So, pag uuwi po kayo ay maganda na una at sa lahat ay i-promote niyo po sa inyong family, relatives, para po mas na-enlighten at naikikwento po nila ang tungkol dito. Second is, from family, we go to the level naman ng social media. And marami na rin na-upload itong aking mga estudyante sa Facebook at nakikita ko parang medyo malayo na rin yung nare-reach niya. So, importante na gamitin natin ang social media responsibly for what? For promoting our courses and not for yung mga bangayan and bashing na ganyan. So, mas maganda na mas i-promote na lang natin yung ating mga courses. And then third, mag-join tayo sa mga environmental advocacy groups kasi dun na nakikita yung tinatawag natin na leadership by example natin. So kung hindi tayo bahagi ng mga organizations, how can we further explain to them and give them the insights about what NVSI is, diba? So we need to kwento pa more about PAES, about GuideSoc, about everything that we are into. Just like me, I'm in Tanggol Kalikasan din right now, may event din. So ganun po, i-chika natin sa lahat at sa tingin ko ay hindi naman masama na mangarap na tayo po ay later on in the future, I know that mas mapopromote pa natin ang course natin to. And I'm very hopeful of that. Sama-sama lang tayo magtulungan.
Okay. Step chair ka nga pala, so ready ka na alam natin kung paano natin ipopromote ang NVSI.
Yeah.
Okay. Sige, salamat,
Yes.
Doc Kat. Yung second, ito medyo technical na. And medyo related kasi meron kang research on Tagaytay. So, The
Yes.
question came from Cavite State University. So, what areas of environmental research do you think will be most crucial in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. I think it's crucial yung tatlo lagi, no? Yung air, water, and land or soil. Yung tatlong spheres natin, yun yung talagang kailangan nating tutukan kasi sabi ko nga, fast-paced yung mga developments na nangyayari, especially dun sa watershed na binanggit ko. Pero right now, lahat to na-experience natin yung water crisis, nagkakaroon ng mga air pollution, tapos na-degrade yung ating mga lupain because of the intensive practices na ginagawa natin. So I think still i-continue natin na i-research po to, lalo na yung area ng kasi ang konti pa ng mga nag-aaral on air part, and medyo yung iba naman they go into water. But I think it's better na ang puntahan natin sa water research is more of each actual, yung talagang economic value na sinasabi sa kanya, hindi yung amount lang ng cubic meter na binabayaran natin, pero we try to consider yung iba pang services na pwedeng i-provide ni water. And then, land use, land cover change pa rin. Para syempre mapigilan natin yung walang habas na pag-change natin from protected areas or protection area going to more on infra and settlement. Naiiwanan din yung production area natin hindi natin yung nakikita. So, dapat itong dalawa ma-maintain natin na hindi po dire-diretso yung pag-increase naman ng infra and settlements na nakaka-impact, no, dun sa sinasabi nating life support system natin na dalawang system.
Okay. Thank you, Doc. At siguro to add po, sobrang generous mo on sharing the titles of the studies na ginawa ng mga students. And kaya po related talaga yung
Yeah.
question on the baselining, kung anong bundok yung pinakamalapit. Kasi we know naman,
Opo.
for research, same lang naman ng methodology, pero mag-iiba ka ng project site para makita natin kung
Yes.
ano ba yung
Because
baseline,
we
ano yung
want them
status.
to replicate the methods that we use.
Yes. So meron actually from Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, Calabangan, na gustong mag-consult sa'yo, Dokat. Pero
Sure,
nakalagay
sure.
naman doon, kasi parang first batch daw sila na NVISA sa school nila, and then fourth year
Oo.
na sila. So hindi talaga ganun ka familiar
Sige
pa
po.
dun sa mga
They can
topics.
email
So
me.
may email si Doc Kat dun sa last slide niya. Pwede kayong mag-consult. Kita niyo naman yung researches, di ba? Ang dami. So
Opo.
replication is the keyword. Hindi natin tinatago yung mga researches
Opo.
natin sa bawat tao, sa scientist. We should share our network, yung expertise natin, and other, katulad ng pag-share ng SLSU at UPLB sa mga laboratories nila. Kasi tayo lang naman talaga magtutulungan.
Opo.
Okay. And then, last three. Sorry, ang dami ko tanong kasi maganda yung yung session natin.
Sige
Okay lang
lang.
na matapos tayo ng alas 3.
Opo,
yung,
opo.
yung, from ano naman, I'm not sure, Dokat, bakit feel ko may relative ka nga talaga sa Quirino. Meron tayong question from Quirino High School.
Oh,
Kung
really?
sino man po yung professor nito or yung teacher nito. Thank you for inviting them sa PAES webinar. And feel ko Isabela or Cagayan State or Benguet State yung pinakamalapit sa Quirino. I'm not sure. Basta nasa north kasi sila. May
Isabela,
advice dun sa
Isabela.
tatlong universities.
Sa Isabela po.
Okay. Okay. Sa mga Quirino High School students na gusto mag-NVISI, merong NVISI si Isabela State University. Okay. Ang question niya po is medyo related din sa Banao, pero di ko po confirmed if may indigenous people. Pero alam ko merong sector in Mount Banao, may sectoral group in Mount Banao.
Oo.
How do you
There are
ensure
no
that
IP.
that environmental research is inclusive in indigenous knowledge or practices?
Naalala ko yung work ko noon sa Ifugao. I was involved in the IKSP ng Ifugao noon. Syempre, dun sa farming practices pa lang, although sa Mount Banahaw, wala po kaming mga IPs doon. Ang mga IPs po namin ay nasa general na car. So sila po yung mga agta dumagat po. Okay, may mga agta remontado din po doon sa may parte ng Rizal. Pero kami, we ensure no that yung sinasabing inclusivity is nandyan. So yung local practice, nire-recognize po yan. And hindi din nawawala doon yung promotion nung kung ano yung practices na meron sila. inilalagay namin yun doon sa bahagi ng extension. So hindi lang siya natapos doon sa kung ano yung pinapractice nila, pero importante sa amin is ma-document kung ano po yung ginagawa nila and at the same time ma-replicate po to. Hindi lang doon sa level ng mga local confined, kunwari dito sa community na lang na to, kundi i-replicate din natin doon sa neighboring community. So, ginagawa namin to doon sa NACARB. Although hindi kami yung involved, mostly ay nasa College of Arts and Sciences. Kasi SOCSI people, so they do that kind of research. And hindi lang IP, ano to, inclusivity, even gender and youth. Yan.
Okay. So, interdisciplinarity talaga. And
Yes
vice the
po.
best.
Yes.
Okay. And then, yung last two difficult round questions.
Oh my God. Beauty pageant.
Yes. Yung first, Dokat, related dun sa picture na pinakita mo kanina. How do you find the balance as a forester and then environmental planner and then environmental scientist dun sa pagpili ng site para sa windmills?
Ah, sa amin hindi kami involved. Truthfully speaking, we were not tapped by any agency na nagpo-put up ngayon ng mga windmills or nag-identify ng mga sites for geothermal or coal plants, Kaya sa akin hindi ko siya masagot kung tama ba. Although meron pong nag-consult nun sa akin na mayor ng isang LGU, sabi niya, would it be feasible to put up this windmill dito sa area na to? And this is dun sa part po ng Laguna Lake. Sabi ko, kayo po, may trade-off po yan. Sabi ko gano'n. Usually kasi ang mga windmill ay nilolocate natin sila doon sa mga areas that really frequently visited by alam na natin, winds, ganyan, mataas na velocity ng wind intensity. So usually yan ay nasa tawag doon, shore, facing the shore areas, gano'n, facing the mga dagat and oceans, doon sila located. Sabi ko, may trade-off po. Lagi naman, may cost and benefit analysis tayong tinitingnan pag naglalagay tayo ng kahit na anong project, although kahit environmental, or sabihin natin that it has an environmental contribution. And then sabi niya, tanong niya, ano po yun? Sabi ko, sir, pag naglagay po tayo ng windmill, and then meron kang plantation dito, kunwari, or mga forest area, ang unang matatamaan po dyan is yung mga birds. Kasi lumilipad po sila. Hindi malamang na mangyari, mas malamang na mangyari ay isasakripisyo natin po yung buhay ng ating mga avian species dito. And later on, pati yung mga pollination, yung, di ba, yung pagtapon ng mga seeds, mga windborne seeds, ganyan. So, mapiprevent. May mga ganun na mga trade-off po. Kaya, kailangan makapag-strike tayo ng tama, balance talaga. I-analyze natin yung cost and benefit. Ngayon,
Okay.
ang nilagyan na ng windmill ay, ang isa sa mga project na itinatayo ay doon po sa may Alabat Island. So that is the hometown ng aking husband. And then, I think they went through environmental impact assessment naman. And I think, kaya na-approve naman ng project ng DNR is because acceptable yung siguro yung kanilang finding.
Okay. Feel ko tuloy nagki-compre exam tayo. Kasi nasa difficult round na. So, ganito po yung training namin sa SESAM. Like, isa lang yung environmental question, pero lahat kailangan mong
Oo.
i-discuss. Which helps us to have that really wide perspective on
Yes.
doing the environmental solution na possible. And then, yung
Yeah.
last ate, medyo, dito kasi tayo nag-meet sa social component of
Yes.
Yes. Na-appreciate ko yung mapa, yung Transect map nga, kagaya nung sabi ng
Oo.
student nyo kanina, on the land cover change.
Mhm.
Pero right now, curious ako for non-technical people,
Mhm.
parang gaano ka taas yung absorption rate nila na pag sinabing, sige, gagawin ko tong palayan or cornfield kasi kailangan ko siya. Pero dati siyang forestry area. Pero hindi nila nakikita yung impacts ng climate change and others. So, gaano ka dali or gaano ka challenging ipa-absorb sa grassroots yung land cover change concepts?
Madali yan. Ang gagawin natin is ganito. Community mapping. Ang ginagawa namin is, ang atake namin is yung current muna. Ano yung itsura ng ating lugar ngayon? Ganon. And then after that, when they do the community mapping, usually ang setup natin, Sir Kendrick, is parang focus group discussion style siya. So nagkakalap tayo ng mga nasa 8 to 10 participants yan para silang nagmo-mind mapping, and then ipuput into into a paper, hard copy, ganyan. So sila yung magmamap ng current use ng land. And then ang next na activity natin is throwback. Sige nga po, imapa nyo nga 10 years ago. Usually mga ganun 10 years ago, tapos 20 years ago, yung to as far as you can remember. Kaya maganda na may representation sa FGP na mga matatanda. Kasi naidodrawing nila kung ano yung mga dating hitsura po ng lugar nila, na maraming puno, maraming mga ibon, yung mga ilog-ilog, ganyan-ganyan. So, ngayon, meron kang past, meron kang current. Dalawa, no? Ngayon, itatanong natin, sa tingin niyo po, kung mananatili yung current, yung ganitong klase ng practice natin ngayon, ano sa tingin po ninyo yung positive future and then negative future, ganon. So another map ulit, future mapping. So ganon siya. Yun yung atake natin para makita nila at ma-realize na, oh my God, after 10 years pala, baka ganito na yung hitsura, baka pati tayo wala na rin, yung ganon. So, and siguro thankful ako sa Lakehead Project that time kasi ilang sa watersheds yung ginanon namin, upland, midland, lowland, na halos ganun yung activity, tapos ilang mga sa watersheds sa Laguna Lake from West Bay to East Bay. Kaya medyo nahasa tayo dun sa part na yun. Kaya hanggang ngayon, yun din yung isa sa mga itinuturo ko sa mga estudyante kasi dun din nila mas naiintindihan na na-express ng community na ganun pala yung doon nila mas naiintindihan na ganito pala yung change na nangyari sa amin din at sa kanila, yung ganon. So, learning experience siya, hindi lang doon sa facilitator, kundi pati doon sa community na na-involved doon sa community mapping. Then, saka mo siya ilalapad sa
Okay.
GIS. Ganon.
Deserve talaga yung doktor na dun sa unang pangalan. Grabe na yung extensive knowledge. And of course, yung generosity mo to share the tips and tricks kung paano ba gagawin yung mga application or first time kong
Opo.
marinig yung future mapping sa sa
Mga PRA
NVISI. So,
tools to. PRA
yes.
tools. Yeah.
So, pag marami talaga tayong pwedeng puntahan hanapin lang natin kung saan tayo masaya. Okay, so
right.
that ends our question and answer. Although marami akong question pa, pero
Yay!
siguro pag napagod. Siguro pag nag-meet na lang tayo Doc at in person. But balik lang po
Yeah.
tayo sa ating slides para we can officially close the program. Okay. Tapos na po tayo sa talastasan, and I think for me, sobrang kahit 5 questions lang yung na-entertain natin, punong-puno, siksik yung nakuha nating knowledge because of our generous speaker. And to provide the certificate of appreciation, basahin ko lang yung citation. This certificate of appreciation is hereby given to Dr. Katrina G. Engay Gutierrez, registered professional forester and environmental planner, in recognition for her valuable contribution as resource speaker in PANTAS Environmental Research in Quezon Province. Given this 26th day of April 2025, courtesy of UPLB School of Environmental Science and Management, Los Baños, Laguna. Signed by Kendrick, President and Founder of PAES. Maraming salamat, Doc Kat. And proceed lang tayo sa announcements. So to student organizations, environmental science, management, engineering, biology, planning, and of course, the members ng ating KIBSOC. Keep up, lang po tayo, mas magiging active lang tayo sa PAES para makita natin or madama natin yung benefits of linkages between different universities. And you can join yung mga hindi pa nakakasali sa amin at membership.paes@gmail.com. And since patapos na nga yung academic year natin, this will be the last webinar for the semester. And yung next PAES activity will be July na. Syempre, bigyan naman natin ng chance yung mga students natin na mag-finals week, mag-thesis defense, and then yung mga graduating kuyas and ates natin nag-graduate this June. So, ang next activity na natin is yung Career Talk Punla, Career Talk on July 2025. And again, ganito kalami yung pwede nyo makuhang linkages kapag naging active kayo sa PAES. 50 universities across 13 regions in the Philippines. And ito na po yung pinakinaantay ng most of the participants natin. Yung evaluation form. So, ilalagay na yun sa comment section. Fill upan nyo lang hanggang tomorrow, 8 p.m. And I guess, a reminder for the people in Zoom, magkakaroon tayo ng group photo after we end the FB Live. And with that, so tayo po ay makinig sa qualified doctor, registered forester, then registered ENT, qualified na scientist. So, daghang salamat sa tanan and amping kanunay. So, end lang po namin itong FB Live and see you again in our next webinar.